Good day to all. So I'm Miss Edalie Felix, your Discipline and Ideas in Social Science teacher. Today we will going to discuss things that are connected with our lesson number 4, Structural Functionalism. For you to effectively learn to this lesson, let me first introduce to you the following lesson objectives that we will use to this entire lesson. First, we will going to understand the concept of structural functionalism and also to determine manifest, latent function, and dysfunction of socio-cultural phenomena. But before we proceed, let's test yourself if you learn from our previous lesson. This activity is matching concepts. You have to match the following social science discipline to its corresponding field of study using the following choices or key personalities provided and flash on your screens. Have you finalized your answers yet? Okay, so let's start answering. In number 1, economics, you're correct if your answer is none other than Adam Smith and Karl Marx. Adam Smith that believing for a capitalist economy, and on the other hand, Karl Marx is believing and prior in the study of Communist Manifesto in economics. Number 2, sociology. You're correct if your answer is Auguste Comte and Emile Durand, which are both father of sociology together with Max Weber, that also known as the father of modern sociology. So for our last and third item in matching concepts, we have anthropology. Anthropology is the study of fossils and remains. Okay. So congratulations if you have 3 correct answer or perfect score. Before we proceed to our main agenda, I want you to focus and watch this advertisement made by Google.
The most human trait is to want to know why. And in a year that tested everyone around the world, why was searched more than ever.
The spread of the coronavirus has passed a significant milestone.
And while we didn't find all the answers, we kept asking. Some questions inspired joy, others excitement.
Life in the bubble.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't know what an improper fraction is.
Teachers should make $1 billion.
We found toilet tissue, y'all.
Oh my God.
Put it on there and start it up for me.
What are y'all doing? It's still March. How many days in March?
Some questions made us cry.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs. I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout. I love you guys.
Some made us worry about this spinning rock we call home.
Fires were detected in the Amazon rainforest.
Why were so many lives lost?
Almost 1.5 million people have now died of COVID-19 worldwide.
Why are we still asking the same questions?
George Floyd repeatedly told the officers that he could not breathe.
So why do we still have strength to continue?
I believe in your power. I believe in our power.
Chants of Black Lives Matter echoed from thousands of protesters in cities around the world.
Why are we not defeated?
We have made too much progress, and we are not going back. We are going forward.
Planes are starting to arrive in Beirut, full of international aid.
Firefighters from around the world arriving in California. There are over 100 coronavirus vaccines in development worldwide.
This is one of those times when people look out for one another and have each other's backs.
We kept going for those who showed us the way.
Think about how you would like the world to be for your daughters and granddaughters.
Remember, the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. Press on,
with pride and press on with purpose.
Why is it that this year showed its worst, and we still found ways to triumph?
An incredible feat for Maya Gaviera.
Naomi Osaka, U.S. Open Championship.
Can't let Corona stop you. Can't let quarantine stop you.
So until we get to every answer, we're still searching.
Thank you, Google, for this emotional yet fun video advertisement. This video is not sponsored, but this may open our awareness about our contemporary issues and environmental concerns nowadays. The advertisement that you watch has a big connection with life. How do you live? How do you survive? In life, there are too many whys that made us seek answers and thoroughly complete us as a better version of ourselves. We will now start to discuss the following dominant approaches in social science. So for the following new video lesson series, you will encounter discussions about dominant approaches in social science. But for now, let us first discuss structural functionalism. Let's start by defining first what is structural functionalism. Structural functionalism is a theoretical technique that sees society as a complicated and interconnected system whose character parts work in live performance to promote steadiness and harmony in the system as a whole. Structural functionalism sees society as a social relations as a system of parts that are connected to each other, and that system as a whole. Its functions refers to the consequences and effects that a part has for other parts of the system as a whole. Usually, positive functions, therefore producing and reproducing the social system of sets of relationship. And this maintains the system of producing harmony and equilibrium plus stability. Social relationship became the social system, and the social system is always made up of interrelated and integrated parts. Although there is a lot of variation between functionalists as they have a lot of in common. Each organ in our bodies has an attribute to promote the normal well-being of our health. You cannot take away one organ and assume to nevertheless be healthy. The heart desires to pump the blood. Your brain needs to do the thinking. Your liver and kidneys do not purifying things like that. If one of them goes away, the entire body mechanism fails. That's how structural functionalism works at the society in the equal way. Each segment of society has a feature that contributes to the renovation of society as a whole. So these components of society then are regarded as structures, and each form has a function. Let's have another example. This happens within the normal basis. Interdependent relationships. Business pay taxes to government, and government uses the taxes to fund school systems. Since schools are funded by the government, school educate the people so they can get a decent job. Job that allow people to spend money at local businesses. And that's the normal cycle. To help us understand the structural functionalism, we have here two levels of perspective. The first perspective is micro level. Micro level is an analysis of small patterns focusing on a particular aspect of social life. The next social level or level of perspective is macro level. The macro level is the analysis of large patterns taking into account the whole picture of the society. The example of macro level and micro level can be seen in this illustration. As we can see, the camera captures only the socialization, the interaction of the people, the function of each people in the society, the role of each person or individual in the society, and the status of those people that may be a part of a family, and each family can create or build a community, and every community regarded as part of the society. Structural functionalism generally asks us, what is your purpose? What is the purpose of life? And the most important of all is, who are you in the society? In macro level, we have the so-called collective groups and institutional groups. That is, apart from that, we have socialization and interaction. We cannot socialize without two or more people, and also interaction can be made by two or more than one persons. So in the lower level or lower part of the illustration, we can see here that in micro level, we are only talking about or pertaining to function of every people or individual in the society, as well as their roles and status. So if we compare it with macro level, we can say that in micro level, it is only concerned with only one or each person in the society. And in macro level, we are talking about two or more people. It captures the two level of preferences by the use of the camera that serve as the society. One of the prominent individuals to study structural functionalism is Emile Durand. He founded sociology as an academic discipline, and he was famous for the study on suicides during 1897. He used also statistics to prove his study on suicides and as well in sociology. Some key concepts that may tag to Emile Durand are social facts, social structure, solidarity, collective conscience, mechanical and organic solidarity, anomy, structural functionalist theories. This is an example of his work on suicide. Durkheim's four types of suicide are the following. First is egoistic, when people lack solidarity. Next is altruistic, that resulting from the level of solidarity is exceptionally high, or a suicide bomber. Next is fatalistic, which is a result from too much social control. And lastly, we have anomic, which is an anomic control that's resulting from a too much high regulation of the society, or as a result of rapid change, usually economically. These are some examples of the following four types of suicide. First is egoistic, which are mentally ill, lonely, social outcast, or depressed. Next is altruistic, which are the best example are kamikaze pilots, suicide bombers, cult members, that the motivation for suicide is coming from the group or those obliged by a group. Last two is from the fatalistic and anomic. Fatalistic motivation is due to hopelessness, and anomic is coming from insecurity. So based from the study of Emile Durkheim, those were the following reasons of taking our lives or committing suicide. The structural function approach is a complex system that works together to promote solidarity and stability. And this is the macro level orientation. So it's really zoomed out that there are two components of this approach. And this is the social structure, so that the relatively stable pattern of behavior and social function, which is the mechanisms, is the purpose behind why social structure exists. Then we learned about Emile Durkheim, the pioneer of sociology in France, that he coined the term social facts, and he was famous for suicide studies. So the suicide studies found that the social ties and freedom or freedom, depending how you like to look at it, really determine that the likeness of suicide and the social facts are these collective things from society, and they can be studied to review the laws and social structure. One also of the key personality in structural functionalism is Robert K. Merton. He taught at Columbia University and sought to bridge the European grand theories and more focus on the research style of structural functionalists. Some key concept that we may tag to him is the manifest and latent function, the strain theory of deviance and dysfunction. But for now, we will going to focus first from the latent function, manifest function, and dysfunctions. One of Merton's greatest contribution to functionalism was the understanding that social realities have both intended and unintended functions, social factors that affect people in the society. Merton's identified two types of functions. The first function is the manifest functions that are predicted, intended, and expected, and knowable effect of a structure. For example, people go to church in order to pray and hear mass. Next type of function is latent functions. These are unintended outcome of social structure. For example, if the manifest function of going to church is for the people to pray, the latent function is to gather people together in one place to reinforce the sense of community. Another type of function is dysfunctions. These are any actions or behavior that has negative consequences for a group of society or an effect of structure that fosters social instability. Some example of dysfunctions is a parent or a family in which a parent is an alcoholic and family members are afraid to talk and face their dilemma of forced routinized living. Another example is a teenager with a dual diagnosis who uses drugs to deal with their symptoms rather than to deal with what causing them. To add more, there are two different types of dysfunctions. In this case, Merton identified another function. This is manifest dysfunction. These are predicted and expected and knowable disruptions of a social structure. For example, a large gathering of people in the concert disrupt traffic flow in the vicinity of the event. Even though it was not intended to do so, latent dysfunctions are factors that led to an unforeseen and unexpected disruption of social structure. Another example is customers that who are usually take pictures of their food in social media and spend longer time in their table. The next customer will likewise have an increase of waiting period. That's it for today. So for your assessment, you're going to make a poem that will introduce yourself and also highlights your functions to your family and to the community. It should be 4 stanza and much better if you will add rhyming to your work. This is the rubric system that we will use for the entire grading. This will help you also to know what you are going to do. Thank you so much for the following references that made this video lesson series possible. Congratulations, you've made this so far. We're done discussing structural functionalism. Again, I'm your teacher, Miss Evelyn Felix. Goodbye!